This month's theme is the art of, and today's topic is the art of thinking. This past week, I started a daily spiritual practice meeting on Zoom at 7 a.m. each weekday. The practice is from 15 to 20 minutes and includes brief meditations, affirmations, and spiritual mind treatment. What an event! And all you have to do is wake up before 7 a.m. Go to the Zoom link which awaits you each morning in your email. Mute your microphone and enter in silence to honor others who are in the quiet. Bring your coffee, tea, or fruit juice with you. Sit back, close your eyes if you choose, and receive. This past week, I've been using material from Holmes' daily readings identified at the front of the Science of Mind text, from his book, 365 Days of Daily Practice, and his book titled Living Without Fear. This next week, I will be using other sources from metaphysical writings within the plethora of ministers and practitioners in our organization, from Unity and other similar spiritual teachers. When we finish each morning the guided spiritual practice, we have time usually for questions and sharing experiences from the practice, if you choose to remain for another 15 minutes or so. So join us sometime soon and see what you think. Let me know what you might like to have included, and see who else is in the Zoom room that you miss seeing on Sunday mornings in the Ohana room. So in keeping with the focus of the messages of Ernest Holmes this past week, I chose to give you some of his ideas on the art of thinking today, which, no surprise, is addressed in a powerful book he published in 1960 titled The Magic of the Mind. So to begin with, we can never not think. If there is any one thing that uniquely sets the human being apart from all the rest of life on this planet, it is our ability to think, to be creative, and use our imagination. These very distinguishing features enable us, in one way or another, to determine the nature of life we choose to live. From our studies of the evolution of humankind down through the centuries, what has been revealed is that these qualities have been, and still are, in a continual state of progress and development. Generally speaking, we feel and believe that we are in very advanced stages of human development. And then this current global threat to our health appears, and we're stymied by what appears to be very old, out-of-date approaches to the challenge. For those who stop to think about that, the old phrase, there is always more to learn, always more to know, rises to conscious attention. For others, there is denial that this is real or dangerous or threatening to them. And for still others, there is significant fear for themselves and for loved ones. So Dr. Holmes says something very interesting from his point of view, building up to the publishing of these writings in 1960, almost 60 years ago. He challenges us with the question, in what respect are we evaluating such progress? Certainly not in terms of physical development, for indications are that only minor changes have occurred in the human being's physical makeup during the past thousands of years. But the changes that have occurred, and undoubtedly will continue to occur, are in relationship to the human being's ability to use and direct his or her thought. Because we cannot not think. And one of the areas of thought that Dr. Holmes is very big on is prayer. How he frames that is like this: every one of us is capable of thought. As a result, we should be able to formulate our thoughts in order that they become effective as prayers. Unless we have become so accustomed to think in a manner that might be other than effective in which case we're at a complete loss. More than once in my ministry, I've had such conversations with people whose previous experiences with forms of prayer left them feeling unserved, left them feeling more guilty than before prayer, finding themselves being told what they should think and requiring that they do penance, or its equivalent, in order to be heard and accepted. They also expressed disappointment when their prayers were not heard. The freshness of Ernest Holmes' concept of thought in action is expressed like this. The goal of entering into prayer, he said, is for the purpose of providing a better way of living. Consciously or unconsciously, every one of us determines for ourselves what our pattern of thinking is and shall be. And it is out of this determination that we decide whether our experiences will be for our benefit or a detriment. In order to do that, it's very important to learn how to direct, control, and utilize our thinking so it delivers the life we desire at no one else's expense. And Holmes reminds us that although prayer may be considered a certain process of thought in and of itself does not necessarily make for effective prayer. There must also be inherent in the prayer specific emotions which he determines as conviction and vitality. Statements in prayer, he says, cannot be the output of a mechanical brain that has little, if any, effect in creating or positively changing our experience. But emotions without the control of reasoning faculties are also dangerous and have a tendency to run rampant in a wild and destructive manner. This is why we learn to keep them under intelligent direction. Belief is a key word in describing this affirmative prayer. When we truly believe a thing, such conviction permits no contradiction, either emotionally or intellectually. It is an expression of our being. We know it, we feel it, we believe it. So in beginning a spiritual mind treatment, one cannot think one way and feel another. Instead, the heart, the mind, and the spirit are one in belief and acceptance. So we craft our spiritual mind treatments to be simple, direct, and sincere statements of the good we desire. Spiritual law functions in a specific and concise manner. So should our spiritual mind treatment be positive and affirmative, that is to say, clearly stated. Definite results come as a natural consequence of a definite cause. Whew, I really like that statement, so I'll say it again. Definite results come as a natural consequence of a definite cause. And as I repeated it, I thought, so what's the difference between a definite cause and an intention? So I looked them both up in the dictionary. They're not in opposition, however, they are different. Cause gives rise to an action, phenomenon, condition, principle, or conviction. Intention establishes the purpose, the goal, the target. What do we call that? Effect. You knew that. Of course you did. Cause delivers effect. Clarity of thought and healthiness of emotion are most essential for effective prayer. Though sometimes we may sense things might be difficult to master, when we realize that thought is a tool, then we can use it consciously and constructively. Intelligence is at the foundation of all that. In fact, intelligence is at the foundation of all that is. Positive and beneficial effects result, that is, manifest, when we think with wisdom and emotional stability. Actually, what we're saying here is that thinking is an art as well as a science. It requires skill and knowledge to develop right use of ideas. Since thought builds our experience according to its content, a consistent endeavor to think in a definite, constructive manner supports us in creating and maintaining a productive attitude. So the process of establishing and maintaining new foundations for our thinking and prayer takes patience, careful evaluations, and consistent effort. Sometimes we discover we must re-educate ourselves to release superstitions, morbid ideas, negative emotions, or a sense of hopelessness. We replace those negativities by opening up our mind to a greater acceptance of divine intelligence and the attributes of joy and harmony. This is always available in the very nature of life itself to surround and immerse us. Our job, then, is simply to recognize them and know they are ours to experience, simply by accepting them in thought and in prayer. At some time or another, most of us have been told or had read somewhere that we were created in God's image and likeness. I never believed that until I began to study the philosophy of the science of mind. From the first moment of the first demonstration in my life, brought about by a spiritual mind treatment, my belief in the likeness of God residing within me appeared, and it has never weakened or departed. In fact, every demonstration in my life, or yours, many of which I have seen manifest, every demonstration adds to my acceptance that each of us is a channel for the flow of God's creativity, wisdom, generosity, love, abundance, happiness, dedication, and health. And I know without a doubt that the spiritual laws of the universe establish for all of us the experiences corresponding to the content of our thought. You are, and I am, a unique and individualized expression of God, divine spirit, creative energy, limitless intelligence, our source of being. Think this, know this, say this, practice this, and send it out into the collective consciousness repeatedly. And so it is.